White House down 2013. In Washington, D.C., Capitol Police Officer John Kale struggles to balance his duty and his relationship with his young daughter, Emily. Determined to prove himself, he applies for a position in the Secret Service, hoping to protect the President of the United States. On the day of his interview, he takes Emily along, promising her a memorable experience. Although his application is rejected, Kale tries to hide his disappointment. Meanwhile, an elaborate and dangerous conspiracy begins to unfold within the White House, setting the stage for a terrifying siege that will test Kale's courage and determination. As Kale tours the White House with Emily, a group of heavily armed mercenaries launches a sudden and coordinated attack. Explosions rock the building, and chaos spreads as security forces are overwhelmed. The attackers quickly seize control, taking key personnel hostage, including the president. Amid the confusion, Kale becomes separated from Emily, who manages to hide while documenting events on her phone. Realizing the magnitude of the situation, Kale shifts from a rejected applicant to an unlikely hero. With no official authority but driven by instinct, he decides to fight back and protect both his daughter and the nation. Inside the White House, the attackers are led by a cunning and ruthless mastermind who reveals a complex motive tied to revenge and political manipulation. They aim to control the country's military systems, including nuclear weapons, to enforce their demands. Meanwhile, Kale encounters the president, who narrowly escapes capture. The two form an uneasy alliance as they navigate the labyrinth of corridors and secret passages. Despite their differences, they quickly learn to trust each other. Outside, government agencies scramble to respond, but confusion and misinformation hinder their efforts, allowing the attackers to tighten their grip on the situation. Kale and the president move cautiously through the damaged White House, avoiding patrols and setting traps to slow the attackers. The president reveals his own vulnerabilities, shedding the image of untouchable authority. Together, they strategize, using limited resources and knowledge of the building's layout. Meanwhile, Emily remains hidden, bravely capturing footage that could expose the attackers' plans. Her actions draw unwanted attention, placing her in grave danger. Kale, unaware of her exact location, grows increasingly desperate. Outside, military forces prepare for a possible assault, but the risk of harming hostages complicates every decision. The attackers tighten security around key areas, anticipating resistance from any survivors. Kale manages to retrieve weapons and communication devices, giving him a slight advantage. He and the president launch small counterattacks, disrupting enemy plans and freeing some hostages. However, the mastermind remains steps ahead, manipulating events to maintain control. Emily's footage begins to spread beyond the White House through unintended channels, alerting the public to the unfolding crisis. This increases pressure on government leaders to act swiftly. Tension escalates as the attackers prepare to execute a devastating plan that could change the course of history. As the situation intensifies, Kale finally locates Emily, but cannot safely reach her without exposing their position. He communicates with her indirectly, urging her to stay hidden and remain calm. The president witnesses Kale's determination as a father, strengthening their bond. Meanwhile, the mastermind initiates the next phase of the plan, gaining partial access to critical defense systems. Outside forces debate launching an airstrike, unaware that such action could trigger catastrophic consequences. Time becomes the greatest enemy. Inside, every movement is a risk, and every decision carries life or death consequences for the hostages and the entire nation. Kale and the president devise a bold plan to disrupt the attackers' control systems and regain command of the White House. They navigate through secret tunnels and hidden rooms, evading detection while planting explosives to disable key infrastructure used by the mercenaries. Meanwhile, Emily's bravery shines as she cleverly avoids capture and continues recording evidence. Her actions inspire hope, but also attract the attention of a dangerous adversary. Outside, authorities begin to piece together the truth, realizing the scale of the threat. However, they remain powerless to intervene directly without risking massive destruction and loss of innocent lives. The plan begins to unfold as Kale and the president execute coordinated strikes against the attackers. Explosions disrupt communication lines, creating confusion among the mercenaries. In the chaos, several hostages are freed, and momentum shifts slightly in favor of the defenders. However, the mastermind adapts quickly, capturing Emily and using her as leverage against Cale. Faced with an impossible choice, Cale must decide between saving his daughter and stopping the larger threat. The president encourages him to stay focused, emphasizing the importance of preventing disaster. The emotional weight of the situation pushes Cale to his limits. Driven by determination, Cale launches a daring rescue mission to save Emily, while also sabotaging the attacker's ultimate plan. He confronts several mercenaries in intense combat, using both skill and ingenuity to overcome them. Meanwhile, the president works to regain control of critical systems, racing against time to prevent a catastrophic launch. The mastermind's plan begins to unravel as internal conflicts and unexpected resistance weaken their position. Emily plays a crucial role, using her intelligence to assist in her own rescue. Together, their combined efforts bring the situation closer to resolution, though danger still looms large. In a climactic confrontation, Cale faces the mastermind, leading to a final and decisive battle. With courage and quick thinking, he defeats the threat, ensuring the safety of his daughter and the president. The White House is finally secured and the attackers are neutralized. Outside, the nation breathes a collective sigh of relief as order is restored. Cale's actions transform him from a rejected applicant into a true hero. His bond with Emily grows stronger, and he earns the respect of those around him. The story concludes with hope, resilience, and the enduring strength of family and courage.